Hey everyone and welcome back. So at the end of the last video, I mentioned that before building the actual app, I started with a small experiment. Today I'm showing you exactly what that looked like. This prototype phase was everything for me. It helped me move past that idea paralysis and actually start building something real. So before jumping into Xcode and building a full iOS app, I wanted to understand the basics first. How things connect, how data moves from one place to another, how content gets created and stored. I needed to see the workflow in action before committing to something bigger. So instead of starting with an app, I started very small. At that point, I kept seeing people talking about a tool called N10, which is a workflow automation tool. People were using it to connect different tools, automate tasks, and test ideas without writing complex code. That felt like the perfect starting point for me. I started watching tutorials to understand what N10 could actually do. And in one of those videos, I saw someone building a chatbot. That really stood out to me because it looked simple enough for a beginner to try, but also functional enough to test a real workflow. So I decided, okay, I'm going to build a chatbot that can generate, retrieve, and deliver stories. At that point, I had two options to create chatbot, either using WhatsApp or Telegram. For me, WhatsApp felt more restrictive. It needed more setup compared to Telegram and honestly felt like too much friction just to get started. Telegram, on the other hand, was straightforward. You could create a bot in minutes and start testing right away. So I went with Telegram. I created a simple Telegram bot and connected it to N10. Let me show you how this actually worked. So this is the Telegram bot I created, Kid Story Bot. The flow is simple. I type /story in the chat and immediately the bot responds with story categories like moral, panchatantra and Disney inspired. Now let me click on moral and now it shows me a list of story titles like the honest woodcutter, the greedy dog, the thirsty crow and so on. So each of these titles is actually a clickable link. So if I click on one of these, let's say the fox and the grapes, it shows the story in my browser through a Notion page. So that's the front end experience of the bot. Simple, functional and it works. But now let me show you what's happening behind the scenes. So this is the N10 workflow that powers the bot. Let me walk you through each node and what it does. This is a Telegram trigger. It listens for any messages sent to the bot. So when I type /story, this node catches it. This is a JavaScript code node. It checks if the message is a valid command. In this case, if it starts with /story, if it does, it lets the workflow continue. If not, it stops. Then this Telegram node sends back the story categories moral, panchatantra, and Disney inspired as clickable buttons. This is another Telegram trigger, but this one listens for button clicks. So when I click moral, this node captures that action. This code node reads which category I selected, in this case moral. Then it goes to Google Sheets and pulls all the stories that match that category. Let me show you what that Google Sheet looks like. So here is the Google Sheet I was using as my database. You can see columns for theme, title and URL. Every story I created was stored as a row here. The theme, the story title and the link to the Notion page where the full story was saved. At this point, I didn't have a proper backend. So Google Sheets was literally my database. So N10 pulls the matching stories from this sheet. Then this code node formats the data into a clean list with clickable links like what you saw in Telegram. And finally, this HTTP request node sends the formatted story list back to Telegram, which displays it to the user. So that's the complete flow. User types /story, N10 processes it, pulls data from Google Sheets, formats it, and then sends it back to the Telegram. At this stage, I wasn't focused on making it perfect or beautiful. I just wanted to see if I could connect these pieces together, like Telegram, N10, Google Sheets, and Notion, and make data flow between them. And it worked. The automation worked. The data moved correctly. The user could request a story, pick a category, and read it. So, for a complete beginner, seeing this work for the first time felt huge. It wasn't just an idea anymore, it was real. it was functional. But very quickly, I started noticing the limitations of this workflow. First thing was that the user experience wasn't great at all. Reading a long story inside a Telegram chat window was very uncomfortable. The screen was small, the text was cramped, and when the story opened in Notion through a browser, it wasn't optimized for mobile at all. Secondly, I had no control over the design or the layout. Everything looked generic, like a Notion page that wasn't meant to be, kids story app. I couldn't customize fonts, colors, or add any personality to it. It didn't feel like an app. It it felt like a collection of links. Third limitation was that after each story was generated, I had to manually add images to each story. And the fourth, and this is the important one, I realized that as much as this prototype worked, it was never going to scale into what I actually wanted to build. I wanted an app where parents could create profiles for their kids. I wanted stories that were beautifully designed with illustrations and narration. I wanted activities like coloring, puzzles, and none of that was possible within this Telegram and Notion setup. So I was at a crossroads. I could keep trying to add features to this prototype, but at some point, I would just be fighting the limitations of the tools I was using. Or I could accept that this experiment had done its job. It proved the concept. It showed me that the workflow could work. It gave me the confidence to move forward. And that's the lesson I want to share here. Your prototype's job isn't to be the final product, its job is to prove that your idea is worth pursuing. And once it does that, its job is done. You shouldn't be afraid to outgrow your first step. In fact, that's exactly what should happen. My Telegram bot experiment wasn't failure because I moved on from it. It was a success because it gave me the clarity and confidence to know I was ready to build something bigger. And that's why I made the decision to move on to Xcode and build a real iOS app. I wanted to build the app I was now imagining, not the one I started with. I wanted full control over the design. I wanted to create an experience specifically for kids. I wanted features that could actually grow into something parents would want, to use every day for their kids. And honestly, that was terrifying. I didn't know Swift, I didn't know Xcode, and I didn't know how apps were structured. But that was also the point of this whole journey, to see how far a complete beginner could go using AI tools to learn and build. So in the next video, we are diving into the real setup. I'll show you how I installed Claude Code and Gemini CLI, the AI tools that became my coding partners. How I opened Xcode for the first time and felt completely overwhelmed. So it's going to be a big step forward, and I'm excited to take you through it. So if you're enjoying this series, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next one. And let me know in the comments, have you ever built a prototype or a proof of concept for your project? I would love to hear what you learned from it. So alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, bye bye.